How do you account for your success on third down this season?
I think it goes back to player execution. We've had guys, I would say, our front and coverage, it's been married together, and we've got good execution from our players in critical situations. So it's really a credit to them.
Joe?
Josh, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Obviously, you and Flo have known each other for a long time. Obviously, this season has been a success, and you guys have meshed well. I'm wondering, what are some of the things that Flo does, from a coaching standpoint and a managing players and people standpoint, that you try to echo, that maybe you have tried to assimilate or, into what you do?
Well, I think, Flo, he directs the entire organization from a coaching standpoint. And if he wants something done, then, the best of, our abilities as a defensive staff, we try to get that executed. Flo's his own person. I'm my own person. I don't really try to emulate, or be the same. I just try to be myself and be genuine. But he does an outstanding job of having his, hand on the pulse of the team. He understands X's and O's very well. And, it's just been a working relationship, and he's him and I'm me. And, and ultimately we share the same goals. So it's when you have a shared vision and shared goals, it's a pretty easy working relationship.
Josh?
Hey, good morning, Josh. The last time you guys faced the Bills at the beginning of the season in week 2, Byron Jones only played, I think it was 3 snaps, after that first possession, and then was out for the rest of the game. How much do you think of having a more complete secondary with Byron will be a benefit, a good factor for you guys heading into this game, with a lot on the line?
Well, I every week you'd love to have all the players available to you. And obviously, we have a huge challenge this week. It's a very potent offense run by a very good coordinator, one of the best in the league. He's gonna stress us in many ways, and he's got a talented a group to work with. The quarterback's playing outstanding. The receivers, all of them are playing outstanding. Diggs, Beasley, they'll get John Brown back. Gabriel Davis has played extremely well. They do a lot of stuff with Isaiah McKenzie. Their backs have been, really productive for them. Singletary, Moss, the tight ends, they use them. I mean, whether it's Lee Smith, Knox, Croft, and then their O-line, they've kind of, I would say, had a group of guys playing together for the last month, and, they're playing really well as a group. And, it's going to be a big challenge for us, and we're going to need everybody, and we're going to need everybody to be at their best. And, we'll look forward to competing on Sunday.
Travis?
Hey, good morning, Coach. Kind of on that same train of thought, I wanted to ask you about weekly matchups in the secondary and how the process works for you as far as deciding, when you're in man coverage, who's going to be matching up with who? Like, do you have a pretty good idea going into the week before you put the tape on? Is it a process that unfolds throughout the course of the week? How does that work for you guys as a defensive staff?
I think it's a combination of all things. I think sometimes you have a pretty good idea going into it. I think sometimes you can start one way and you can get into the week and go, this might be a little bit better. Ultimately, it comes down to, you really just want to put the guys in the best position to succeed. And, based on what they've done, based on what our opponent does. So, a lot of things go into that. But ultimately, what you're trying to do is put those guys in the best position to succeed.
Cam?
Hey, Josh, how are you?
back in week 2, it seemed like they tried to attack you guys with a lot of those crossing routes, sort of the man beater routes across the field. Obviously, you guys are game planning for that, but what sort of challenges do those types provide, and maybe what's the method to maybe slowing them down while still doing what you guys want to do as a defense?
Well, like I said, Brian Dable does a tremendous job. Like he's gonna, I mean, whether you're in man or zone, you know, the zone beaters are coming depending on what zone you're in. The man beaters are coming if you're a man, you know, and ultimately, you know, there's things that you can do defensively to help yourself in those situations, to put the guys in better spots. But you know, like I said, I mean, we'll have a huge challenge for us. You know, Dable's as good as there is at, you know, finding out what you're in and how to attack it.
All right, there's one more question. Adam?
Josh, regarding mobile quarterbacks, do you feel like his team has gotten a better job throughout the course of the year figuring out how to handle them? And what lessons have you learned, I guess, from the first time around facing Allen?
Well, again, he's extremely athletic. You know, I mean, he can stand in the pocket and make all the throws. He can move and make all the throws. You know, he's been productive in both areas. You know, I think as the season goes, you know, you hope you improve in all facets of the game. And, you know, and really what it comes down to is execution. You know, we'll prepare and we'll get ready to go against these guys. And it's ultimately going to come down to us executing on Sunday. And, you know, like I would say that we're constantly striving for improvement, no matter what it is. And, you know, you always face adversity. There's always bumps in the road. And, you know, I don't think anybody's ever coached a perfect game or anybody's played a perfect game. But at this time of year, we need to be at our best.
Hey, Danny, you guys got a fake off this week without a penalty, so it worked out for you. I'm just curious, mostly about the frequency. You guys have done fakes, at least in my view, maybe more than or close to more than any team in the league. How have you still been able to get them off successfully and have it still appear to be a surprise, you know, when it happens?
Well, again, I think, you know, we try and come up with things that we like. And I just think that more than anything, you know, opportunities have presented themselves, whether it's with particular looks or with the situation of the game, where it's something that's given us the opportunity to call it. And then more importantly, you know, as you guys are probably sick of hearing, and then it comes down to the execution of it. And, you know, we've been good on some things and bad on some other things, but you know, fortunately, it was successful on Saturday night.
Josh?
Hey, Danny, the past couple of weeks, you've had a couple questions about Jason Sanders and, you know, his level of confidence. Could you speak on the moment of him being able to step in there and make that kick? And then obviously just how do you think, you know, that might propel the team to, you know, motivation coming into this week?
Well, I think the biggest thing with Jason is I don't think his confidence has ever wavered. I know we've talked about this in the past, and you know, even on some of his, you know, on his misses, you know, he's struck the ball very well. So I think when you have that and you're striking the ball well and you've struck it well all season, you know, if you do have a miss, you're not going to overanalyze that. And I think as a group, as a team, I think there's you know, great confidence in the team when we run Jason out there that, you know, that successful things are going to happen. So, you know, again, hopefully that continues and we keep working and you know, he keeps in the zone that he's been in all season.
Barry?
Hi, Danny. I was going to ask you who you feel your best return options are if Jakeem is unable to play again this year.
Well, you know, we got some guys that have some history in college. We got some guys that have some history of doing some things some other places. So It's a hard question to answer right now. We'll see where we're at throughout the course of the week, and I'm sure Flo will keep you guys abreast on what's going on.
Good morning, Chan.
Morning.
I wanted to ask you about the dynamic of the two quarterbacks that obviously played on Saturday. To our eyes, and you can tell us if we're wrong, there seemed to be more of a vertical passing game when Ryan was in the game. If that was incorrect, were there throws that Tua was missing? And if that's accurate, what is the thinking behind opening up more with Fitz under center?
Well, the situation of the game has a lot to do with it. You end up getting behind and needing to get down the field and score points quickly. That has a lot to do with it. And then, we've been a team that has tried to be 9, 10, 11, 12 play drives, run the football, play action pass, control the time on the clock. And so that's the situation that we found with Tua in the ball game. And plus you're missing some receivers from time to time, and that has something to do with it. So a lot of that goes into decision making about how the game is being called and what kind of plays we run.
Travis.
Hey, good morning, Coach. How much of a lift was it to get Miles back on offense this week? And what did you see from him, on tape that led to that big night for him?
Well, he had a good week of practice, which, that always means a lot. If a guy has a good week of practice, you have a lot of confidence going into the game. And Savon had done extremely well, obviously, the week before. So he got to start, and then all of a sudden Miles started running the football and getting some creases and making some plays. So he got the hot hand, and that's kind of how we've been doing it this year. Whoever gets the hot hand, we let them go.
Cam. Cam.
Oh, am I muted now? Okay. Dan, just kind of following up with what B said about the difference and when Fitz comes in. Is there something about maybe Fitz's comfort with offense that he may feel more comfortable throwing those deep passes, or is it just simply the play calling? How do you view those situations in those fourth quarter when Fitz comes in?
Well, he does have a lot more experience with a few of the receivers. You noticed he threw it to Zay a couple of times and to Mike a couple of times. Guys, he has a great comfort level with it. He knows how they're going to react in certain situations. So having played with those guys last year and the first part of this year, he's very comfortable. He kind of has an idea of where they're going to be and how they're going to react in those situations. So I think that part of it, allows him to, put the ball in some certain spots, and it worked out for us.
Omar.
Chan, I'm still trying to learn a lot about the RPO and that style of offense. I'm assuming, how important is the run part of it? I know it's the first letter that comes in it. How important is it to that style of game in terms of, I guess, is it much like play action?
Well, it's that's not an easy question to answer, by the way. It's play action pass means that you are faking a run, but the linemen are not actually blocking downfield like they would go after linebackers and go down the field. The RPOs have to be thrown much quicker. Play actions can be, you can fake the run, but your linemen aren't going down the field, so you can throw deeper routes. The RPO has to be thrown quickly because your lineman, if you don't throw it quickly, your lineman, as we've been called a couple of times this year, we had linemen downfield on RPOs because we held it just a little bit too long. So the RPO, the run part of it is huge. you've got to sell the run, and you got to be willing to hand it off if they give you the look you want to run the football.
Safid?
Hey, Chan, not sure if we're going to get to talk to you after this point. So I wanted to ask you, how was your experience coming back from retirement been this season? And do you think you'll be back next season with the team?
This has been an unusual year, to say the least. So the experience has been like no other I've ever had, that's for sure. And I think somebody, maybe it was you, asked me last week, I'm thinking about how to go up and beat Buffalo. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about anything else right now. How can I help this football team go beat Buffalo?
John?
Ken Gailey, John Warrow, Associated Press, Buffalo. It's good seeing you.
Good to see you.
Obviously, your connections to Buffalo go back, and I'm just sorry for the convoluted question because there's a couple of points I wanted to address, but how much does the sting of 2015 and how that season ended with the Jets and with that loss in Buffalo still resonate with you and Fitz? And if you reflect back to when your teary-eyed departure, you said this will probably be, and I say probably, but I think it will be the first place that's ever fired me that I'll pull for. Just how things come back and whether it's what you said back after you got dismissed or the 2015 season, just any recollections or perspective on that?
Yeah, you make a lot of statements when you're young that you wish you had back, so that one has not held true that I said. I love the people there. They're great people. I really do. But I want to beat their butt this weekend. And the loss we had up there, it still sticks in my craw. And so that was a tough one. That one sticks with me for sure.
Omar?
Chan, I just want to clarify. We've asked you the question twice, obviously trying to do our job. But you keep bringing up how different this year has been have because of the pandemic. Is that a factor in your decision in terms of safety and things of that nature about whether you want to continue to coach?
Oh, no, I was just saying, somebody asked me how the experience was this year, and it was just the most unusual experience I've ever been through. No.
I got time for one more. We'll go to Adam.
Chan, there has been some criticism on the outside that you might not call the same plays for Tua as you do for Fitz, that there might not be the same level of trust. I imagine you're going to push back on that narrative. I wanted to give you the chance to respond.
Yeah, you have the game plan set up that you go into it with, and then you're in a different mode when you get to the end there. You're in a totally different mode. So it is different because of the situations, not because of the players.